You open the fridge, grab the yellow block, and spread it across your toast. You have done this 1,000 times. Then one morning, you actually read the label. It does not say butter. It says vegetable oil spread. You flip it over. Canola oil, palm oil, water, emulsifiers. You reach for the butter sitting next to it. One ingredient, cream, 2 products on the same shelf, close enough in taste that you never question the difference. But here's something that might surprise you. One is cream churned until it turns solid. The other is liquid oil forced into shape by chemistry. The war between them lasted over 100 years. In 1869, Napoleon III had a problem. He needed a cheap fat for his military and the working poor. Butter was expensive and spoiled fast, so he launched a competition. Create something that spreads like butter, but costs a fraction of the price. A chemist named Hippolyte Mauriès won. His invention blended beef tallow with milk, churned and chilled until it resembled butter. He called it oleomargarine. Here is the strange part. The first margarine was made from animal fat, not a single drop of vegetable oil. Then the 20th century changed everything. Industrial seed oil production exploded. Manufacturers switched to hydrogenated vegetable oils. Margarine became cheaper, shelf-stable for months, and easy to mass produce. It also became a direct threat to dairy farmers, and dairy farmers fought back. In the United States, more than 30 states passed laws restricting margarine. Some banned it. Others prohibited yellow dye, forcing it to sell in its natural state, a pale, ghostly white nobody wanted on their toast. But margarine had one weapon butter could never match: price. By the 1950s, the cheaper substitute outsold butter in America for the first time. The copy had overtaken the original. Here's the thing, nobody tells you about what actually separates these two. Making butter is almost embarrassingly simple. You start with cream, around 35% milk fat. You agitate it. That is the entire concept. A churn spins the cream at a controlled temperature, roughly 10 to 15 degrees Celsius. As it moves, fat globules collide and stick together. Membranes around each globule break open, releasing liquid butterfat that fuses into larger and larger clumps. After 20 to 30 minutes, something shifts. The mixture suddenly splits. Solid yellow clumps pull away from a thin, pale liquid. That liquid is buttermilk. The solids are your butter. Workers drain the buttermilk, then wash the butter in cold water to flush out milk proteins. This matters. Leftover proteins cause it to spoil faster. After washing, the butter is needed to push out trapped moisture and create a smooth texture. Salt goes in if the recipe calls for it. Pressed into blocks, wrapped, done. Now consider what it takes to make your margarine. The base is vegetable oil, soybean, canola, palm, or sunflower. At room temperature, all of them are liquid. To make oil behave like butter, solid and spreadable, manufacturers have to change its molecular structure. The traditional method is hydrogenation. Oil enters a sealed reactor where it is heated to between 160 and 200 degrees Celsius. Hydrogen gas is pumped in under high pressure. A nickel catalyst accelerates the reaction. At the molecular level, hydrogen atoms attach to the carbon chains of fatty acids, converting double bonds into single bonds. Unsaturated fat becomes saturated. Liquid becomes solid. After hydrogenation, the hardened oil is cooled and blended with water, emulsifiers, salt, artificial color, and synthetic vitamins to mimic butter. The mixture is pasteurized, rapidly chilled, and packaged. One process is mechanical, cream and motion. The other is chemical, reactors, catalysts, and molecular engineering. Both produce a yellow spread you put on your toast. But what happens inside your body after you eat them is where the real story begins. During hydrogenation, not all double bonds convert cleanly. Some twist into an unnatural configuration called trans fats. For decades, scientists knew trans fats existed in margarine. What they did not broadcast was the damage. Trans fats raise your LDL cholesterol, the kind linked to clogged arteries. They also lower your HDL cholesterol, the kind that protects you. That is a double hit no other dietary fat delivers. Saturated fat in butter raises LDL but leaves HDL alone. By the early 2000s, research confirmed what decades of marketing had buried. Trans fats were more dangerous than the saturated fat margarine was designed to replace. Here's where the story flips. The product engineered to be healthier turned out to carry a risk butter never had. For over 50 years, margarine labels told you it was the responsible choice. Your doctor recommended it. Government guidelines endorsed it. Your family switched. Then the science caught up. In 2015, the FDA ruled that partially hydrogenated oils were no longer recognized as safe. By 2018, they were banned from the American food supply. Butter, the product that had been losing shelf space for decades, started winning it back. Next time you stand in that dairy aisle, here is what you need to know. Real butter lists 1 or 2 ingredients. Cream, maybe salt. Anything beyond that means you are holding a blend. Grass-fed costs more, but delivers higher vitamins A and K too. Modern margarine has reformulated. Most brands drop trans fats, but if you pick up a tub, check for 2 words: partially hydrogenated. If that phrase appears anywhere on the label, put it back. FDA rules. Let companies print 0 grams trans fat if the amount stays below half a gram per serving. The ingredients tell you what the front never will. 1 tablespoon of butter costs you about 12 cents. Margarine about 6. Choose what fits your diet. Just read the back before you trust the front. So tomorrow morning when you open that fridge and reach for the yellow block, flip it over. Now you know exactly what you are spreading on your toast. That's the process. We reveal how things actually work, one story at a time. If there's something you'd like us to explore next, let us know. Until then, trust the process.